Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Where's the HBO style takedown documentary about real life road rules? Because that had to be a nasty filming.
Yeah, a real gross environment. Yeah.
Maybe that's us. Maybe that's what we come into now.
True.
Maybe that's
this is
our
our era, our breakthrough era.
Maybe that's what our bonus Jonases are.
True. Yeah.
Well, welcome into the Twilight.
Hey, we're here.
Where we are a millennia old.
Sure.
We are Father Time collectively.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, but someone's got to do it. You know what I mean?
Honestly.
I mean, it's also brave for someone who hates time to also be Father Time. But nevertheless, you do persist, so.
We have a really fucked up relationship, Time and I.
Sure.
Where it confuses and confounds me, and yet I am forced to participate in it. And that's so much of my life, you know? I'm a unwilling participant in so many things.
Yeah, so true.
I will stamp my feet and be and have a big frown, but I will go along with it, I guess.
Right. Like, don't get it twisted. I will have a bad time and will show it, but I will do it.
But I'll do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Except for this. This I do enjoy.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Cleaning my house? No.
Sure.
Taking my trash out?
Yeah. Oof.
Bringing the bins back in? Mm-mm.
Ugh, yeah.
Paying rent? No.
Yeah. Not a fan.
Not a fan. Yeah. How are you? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, I guess. Yeah, I'm chilling. I just cracked open a fucking Monster Energy, so that is the energy
my
of
God.
which we are skating through this as a 14-year-old boy.
I mean, listen, we're going to be talking about Vegas for most of this episode,
right.
So
I
that's
need to,
applicable.
I need to, get a jump start here for the day. There is a character from Apex Legends on the back just staring at me, so that's, like, a cool vibe.
Oh, my God.
On this can. I come to you not necessarily with a happy thing, but with an update, a final update. And that is that I have finished Glee.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
So that was a real change in pace.
Yeah.
I feel like the last time we talked about this, I was like, okay, so just give me an update on where you're at next time. And you were like in the beginning of season 2, I think.
Right, yeah. So here's the thing. We just didn't stop.
Sure.
Because here's the thing. We're in, like, a kind of a dry area for TV. Like, Abbott just came back finally.
100%.
But, like, and then Drag Race just came back. But, like, as far as, like, regular weekly shows, we are in a desert right now. It's a hard time. Things aren't picking up until, like, spring or summer.
That looming writer strike, folks.
Right,
They're
exactly.
just pushing everything back.
Exactly. So we're like, we have nothing else new that we want to watch. Might as well just fucking go for it. And we did.
Listen, I can't judge. I'm like 7 seasons deep into Criminal Minds, so
yeah,
I get it.
It happens to all of us, okay? And listen, does it end good? No. No. Not even close. But I will say, I was kind of surprised, because I watched, like, some of season 4 the first time I've watched Glee, and that's when I stopped, because Turkey Lurkey and Sarah Jessica Parker really threw me off. We know this.
Right.
But season 4 and season 5 are fine, which I was surprised by, right? Because, like, obviously, first 3, God tier, the canon, the scripture, right?
Right, yes.
But, like, 4 and 5 are not as good, but the heart is still there. Like, you still get, like, the vibe and the spirit and like the attempt of like wistfulness and wanting to do something or whatever, and like you go back and forth, which is interesting. Whatever, New York City, baby. And then season 6 happens, and then all of that is thrown out the window immediately.
I do remember the prophet himself, Mike Smike, being like, season 6.
Yeah.
What?
It's not even like close in energy, in tone, in vibe. It is a complete departure and a complete decline fast. The only thing I will say, though, that is very important about that season, which none of you gays told me about, which I am honestly upset and pissed off at you, is that at the double gay wedding with Brittany and Santana and Blaine and Kurt, fucking Jennifer Coolidge is there as Brittany's mom, and Shania Twain is there as Blaine's mom, and they just sing together. And none of you homos told me that. And that feels like homophobic. That feels disrespectful.
I feel like you just have to go into that not being prepared.
Yeah, it did feel like a treat. Like I was like waging a war with Ryan Murphy at this point, and I was like, I've climbed all these mountains, I've done these treacherous journeys, and finally I've seen like the light at the end of the tunnel, and this was worth it, and that was that, and that's all that matters to me.
That episode in particular has been out for almost a decade now. Sure. And I never see that specific moment talked about on Twitter ever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how is this not the most memed, one of the most meme moments? I guess because people just forget about the last season, and I get it, because I see stuff from, like, old Glee pop up every now and again, or whatever. But, like, that is such a wild group of people at once, and it's beautiful, and I don't understand, with all the, like, Jennifer Coolidge essences happening.
It's so real. I feel like maybe when it debuted, there was, like, an NDA that screened at the beginning, and it was like, you can't actually talk about this moment.
Right, yeah. It's like
everything else, actually... yes. But you have to keep this as a surprise for everyone that's watching it.
This is a blood oath. So yeah, I've won the battle, I've won the war. I've completed my journey with Sir Ryan Murphy's Glee. And I wouldn't say I feel better, but I do feel like I accomplished something, which is
sure.
I had the persistence of something I did not when I was, a teenager, and I feel good. We did it.
It's so exhausting.
Yeah.
But you got to do it once.
You got to do it once. You got to grip it and rip it once. Like just one foul swoop.
I completely agree. Yeah. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to get like a certificate of completion of this and just like frame it. Like you did it.
Yes. I love this so much.
Yeah. So that's what has aged me in the past
oh my God.
weeks of my life. How are you doing?
Oh, I definitely feel aged.
Yeah.
Sure. I am doing okay. I notably don't do resolutions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped doing that when the Newtons happened, because I was like, listen, I just need to like get through this. But one thing I'm trying to do is be on my phone less.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the computer all day at work. And then I was just like, what if I found myself being like, well, what if I get off work and then I just spend all night on TikTok and then I go to bed? And that's turns out not great for the brain space. And so I have been trying to find ways outside of my phone to engage my brain. And one of those that's been fun is like coloring. But the hardest thing, and this is my happiest thing, which I never thought, gun to my head, I would ever bring, is Sudoku.
Yes. I am thrilled for this era for you. Could I just say?
So I'm trying to do one of those like no buy things.
Mm-hmm.
I put entertainment in a category that's allowed. So I did buy like a Sudoku book and like a crossword book, because that keeps me off my phone which is like, I'm bored, let me buy shit.
Yeah.
Now, it is important to know that up until, honestly, since I got on ADHD medication, I was like, numbers? Absolutely not.
Right.
This is not for me. I would look at it and it would like make me nauseous. And I wish I was being hyperbolic. So I got this being like, I'm going to try it. And if I don't like it, then I don't give a fuck. The problem though, that I didn't anticipate is I actually like it a lot.
Yes. Let's go. Let's go.
ADHD medication works.
Yeah. Fun fact.
And I didn't realize until searching an image for this in our notes that they're considered puzzles. And I've notably, up until like a week ago, been a very anti-puzzle person. Because my brain didn't have the capacity for it.
Right.
But apparently I like puzzles.
Yeah.
Which is a very like 180 stance.
It's kind of a groundbreaking reversal for you, which I love.
So I've gotten into a habit this week of like, when I'm done with work, I just have a little like lap desk thing, and I sit on my couch with my pencils, and I just play Sudoku, and it's something about it is like just enough brain engagement, but it's not exhausting.
Right.
Because it's like, it's whatever. Like, I'm just doing this for fun. I could just stop whenever I want to. But I keep doing it. And then I'd realize, oh, it's been enough time. Like, I'm tired. Let me start getting ready for bed. And then I realized, like, I looked today, because, you know, your screen time thing on my phone comes out tomorrow.
Right.
But my screen time is down, like, 30%.
Fuck yeah. Look at you.
So... who's to say, because, you know, ADHD, I notably am not a habits person. I don't try to keep myself to, like, daily shit.
Sure, right.
So, who's to say next week maybe I'll start my crossword shit. But, like, I found it very fun.
Yeah.
In a way that I didn't expect.
Yeah. The beauty of Sudoku is, like, it's so, like, relatively simple, but it makes you feel so smart for completing it.
I feel like a fucking genius.
It's like the perfect amount of effort to serotonin of completing, like relatively low lift but incredibly high rewards of finishing it, which I think is beautiful.
This is the closest I've ever felt to having like a mind palace. That I see all these numbers and I'm like, yes, I'm the smartest person alive. And I haven't felt that way with numbers, I think, ever. So if you are like me and have notably have an anti-puzzle platform, I think it is worth trying. And also, I'm not on my phone as much, and that is helpful.
Yeah.
We only have one current event this week.
Yes.
We have talked... There's more news about You, Season 4. We've talked about the posters. We've seen the teasers. We now have a full trailer.
A real, actual trailer.
It is out. It is here in preparation for the 2-part season. Which I'm still unamused by, to be honest.
Right, it's like, just give it to us. Come on. You know you have it all.
Yeah, I know
What's
it's done.
Point? I know you have it. Just give it.
If you all remember, was it last year? Was it 2 years ago? I honestly can't remember. You Season 3 ended with Joe being like, actually, domestic life, not for me. Fuck this kid.
Yeah.
I'm going overseas.
Yeah.
And he describes in this trailer as a holiday. It wasn't a holiday. He didn't even go to a place with no extradition.
Right, yeah. It's like, if you're gonna like go to absolve yourself of crimes, at least pick a better spot for that.
But that's fine. Because it ended, I think, with him in Paris. But now we see him in England.
Right.
And I was very like, This trailer has won me over. And I didn't expect to say that going into season 4 of this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, how many times can you do the, they're wrong about me, or like they don't really know what I'm truly am, and still be like, you know what, maybe we should give him another chance. I'm like, I'm interested. I'll see.
I think it is a testament to their team that he has this is the 3rd time he has reinvented himself, and I'm still like, maybe it can work out.
Yeah. Maybe this time is the one that works.
And it's not even, I will say, I'm not rooting for Joe.
No.
I don't know that I have rooted for Joe ever. I just want to see him fall. And the fact that this time he is the prey is very interesting.
A real switcheroo.
I do think that the writers and the showrunners saw what happened with Search Party, and they were like, what if we do that?
Yeah, it's like, what if we get a bunch of, newspaper clippings on the wall? Just like go full investigation mode in a wacky way.
What if we get these really rich, rude people and that we surround Joe with, and then we have him be the one that's hunted?
Right. Which I love.
I mean, yeah, it's working because I want to see it.
Also, we don't see too much from the trailers and stuff, but I already love how, like, fancy this looks. Like, those, like, huge libraries and, like, giant bookcases and, like, castles and, little croquet parties or whatever. Like, I'm excited for, like, the glamour of it all that Joe will absolutely be repugnant to, but I love it. I'm obsessed.
I am, as with every season so far, it's frustrating because I want Joe gone. I don't like him.
Yeah.
But I love Penn. And he looks so good in this trailer with this facial hair. It's honestly kind of fucked up.
Yeah, he's never looked better, I think.
Especially because him in this, like, professor clothing fits him so well.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. I'm mad about it. Yeah. But I'm weirdly expected this season to be the one where it's like, I don't care, I'm not interested, and this trailer turned me around. So, good on them.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Folks, get your glitter jackets on. Get your Vegas attire. Put your... I don't know.
It's time to hit the slots, all right?
Yes. Yeah, get your... I don't know. For me, it would be like a candy cigarette. Just doing it, like, for the vibes. Last time, I remember we broke out of the prison. We made our way to Vegas. Eddie decided, let's go to the Luxor, obviously. They were all waiting very awkwardly in one hotel room with 4 people. And then Adrian found out, because Rose is bad at crime sometimes.
Yeah.
And he was understandably confused and also mad. And then Rose was like, well, you're here, so help us. And he was like, no. But then he did.
Yeah.
So, where do we leave off? Where do we start in Chapter 9?
Chapter 9, we are finally meeting the man, the myth, the legend, Robert Doru.
All right, Bobby. Let's go.
Bobby boy. He's just like, chilling in this casino. Lissa kind of like spots him with this new like spirit identifying thing that we've just kind of thrown in here. Has been really fun, even though it hasn't really existed in the books prior, of just being like a little bat signal. Be like, oh, there he is. He's glowing. He's got a little spirit in him. Here he is.
Sure, yeah, let's pretend. I mean, I know that they've talked about it before, but it seems extra important this book.
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct. Yeah, it definitely has a different significance, I guess, here.
Bobby's just wearing, like, all glow stick. Everything is just glow.
Yeah, it's a big rave head, actually. So.
I love this man.
Yeah, and the relationship between Victor and Robert is tense. They're not
also creepy.
Yeah, like they're not super buddy. They're brothers, but they're just kind of like, hey man, you know, like they don't hug. They don't really like acknowledge each other more than like, hi, we're here.
Yeah, know? They're not Winchester brothers. They're not like. They're not touching each other.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Robert reminds me, the way that Ferrero describes him initially reminds me a lot of Professor Trelawney. He is like off in the clouds. He is gone girl.
Right.
Which makes sense with what we know about him, that like his spirit has him a little like loosey-goosey.
Yes.
And we start to learn a little bit more about why. Mm-hmm. But at first, Rose is like, something's wrong with this dude.
Yeah, it's like the vibes are off. I can't really put my finger on it, but there's something strange going on here. And everyone's just like sitting at this table, just tense. Like, not really sure where to start, how to start.
Right.
What's going on. And Robert kind of like breaks the silence and is like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, what's their story? You know, what's going on? Like, these children and these spirit users. And then notices that Rose is shadow kissed, which kind of puts Rose in a little bit of thing, being like, oh god, he has my whole thing figured out. Like, everyone here knows all of our shit.
One of the things I love about Bobby is because of the fact that he has spirit, but he's like a loner, and also his spirit has him a little like loosey-goosey, is he has no like social filter.
No, it's called completely like straight from the dome, like immediately no processing or anything of it. It's just his first inclinations of text.
Which makes this chapter amazing, is he is just calling everyone out on their bullshit.
Right.
And that is not where I expected this to go.
No, completely not. Because even after that, Victor's like, oh yeah, these are my friends. They just like, you know, want to talk to you. They have some questions. And Robert's like, you're fucking full of shit. Like, they are all scared of you. And like, they definitely don't seem like they like you very much. Which, like, you're so real for that, Robert. Absolutely. Is the case.
And it's wild because the way that Victor and Bob, I keep calling him Bob. I don't know why.
You can call him Bobby. That's fine.
Bobby at the rave. Like, Rose keeps seeing Robert, and she thinks of him almost as like a child. Like, the interaction between these two is like throwing her off, and she doesn't know what their fucking vibe is, but she doesn't understand it. I agree.
Retweet.
I love confirmation from the universe.
Yeah.
My favorite character in this chapter is the waiter.
This poor waiter. It's like, because he shows up the first time, it's like, hey, you guys want any drinks? And of course, Adrian's like, yeah, I'll have a gin and tonic, even though I'm underage. He's like, yeah, for sure, it's Vegas, baby.
Setting them.
Right. And everyone in this table is like very stressed and like unsure how to like process this conversation or proceed with it. And this waiter keeps coming back. It's like, do you guys want fucking food or not? Like, I keep coming back here and you're not ordering. You haven't even looked at the menu yet. Like, what are you doing? Are you going to eat anything? And there's like, and Rose like freaks out and like looks at the first thing that she can even see. Is like, egg rolls. I'll take the egg rolls.
God. Yeah. I want a loud and fatty food when I need to be like on my shit trying to take care of these people.
Yeah, and two, the Adrian is drinking, and she's not that's. I mean, there's already a thing of like him when they were together, and I guess they're still somewhat together or whatever. But like, he was like, I'm gonna not drink anymore, whatever. And it's not even just that, but it's that it will, you know, make his spirit less effective, right? Like, it harpens his spirit. Right. And she's like, we need to be on fucking A game here. Like, I don't care about, like, this petty shit or whatever, but, like, if something happens, if shit goes down, like, we need to be on it. And
yeah, like, order a fucking Shirley Temple. Like,
right.
You need to be on your shit right now.
Have a little fun, okay? Yeah, don't adhere to your own, things. Come on, man.
Like, we have a fugitive here.
Right.
Get it together.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I forgot about this, and maybe it had never come up, but apparently at some point, Adrian had told Rose that whenever Lissa and Rose were together, spirit users could see their auras as, like, linked. Mm-hmm. Which makes Bobby at the rave go, confusion.
Yeah, whoa.
And he's starting to think about, apparently, his bond babe named Alden. Who we can interpret as was lost.
Right, yes. He talks about him with a fondness of, he's like searching for memories, kind of vibe, the way he's talking about him. And Rose tries to be like, oh, I can't imagine what that must be like. And Bobby's like, yeah, of course not. No, you can't. You have no idea. Like, you have, like, everything at your disposal right now, and then you lose, like, a tether to you or whatever, and everything's different. Like, you have no idea, lady.
Robert, I think Rose even says, like, Robert is really good at killing conversation.
Yeah, he's like, he's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a, ew, yikes.
And it's wild because it makes sense, right? Like, this is an insurmountable loss. He's not used to being around people. And also is in this weird situation where he's next to his brother, and Rose is starting to notice this, like, devotion. I think she even says, like, idol worship around him. And that's not great.
Yeah.
Makes things a little fucked up.
Right.
Finally, though, he's like, all right, so you brought me here.
Right. What's the tea?
I'm not eating. What do you, like, what the fuck do you need?
What is this for? And Rose asks the titular question of, we've heard that you've, changed Estergoy, freed them, and if it was possible. Like, we heard that you've done it. And this is the first time, too, that Eddie is understanding or hearing for the first time the purpose of this mission. Everyone else is somewhat clued in, or Adrian, too, I guess, as well.
And Victor.
To an extent. Right. Well, yes, because Victor is, like, very gossipy, being like, okay. And more, I think she notices, too, that, like, Victor is more pushing on Bob to answer the questions because he's a dramatic bitch and he wants to know. He's like, why did you break me out? Like, what's so important? Like, and Rose is finally like, okay, here it is. Did it happen? Can you do it?
Right.
What's all that about?
And
she
naturally,
brings
he's like, Bobby's like, well, where'd you hear this from?
Yeah, who told you that?
I'm not, like, before I answer this, like, who told you this? They weren't supposed to spill anything. And she says, like, Mark and Oksana. And Bobby's like, oh, damn. Like, I didn't know that they were still together. And that's wild, because they're bond babes, so the only thing that would break them up is if they, like, one of them died.
Yeah.
And Rose is like, hey, pay attention.
Yeah, don't get distracted.
Exactly. So she's like, did you actually do this? Like, is this possible? Can you do this? And Bob's like, her. It was a woman. And he uses the language freed. I freed her.
Right.
Which is interesting. Is it... I didn't expect that. But it doesn't even matter because Adrian...
immediately butts in.
Yeah, at least one gin and tonic deep is like, you're lying.
Yeah, you're full of shit.
And this is why I have a soft spot for Bobby. Because Bobby with no filter at the rave is like, who are you? Hello? Who are you? How can you tell?
It's like you're too inebriated to even have powers anymore. Like, you don't even have any control of anything at this moment.
Yeah, like, it's a wonder that you can even touch your magic anymore with all the things that you do to yourself. Mm-hmm. And Adrian was too stunned to speak. Robert, like, effectively just slapped him.
Yeah, no words, just shrivels down into a corn cob.
Oh my god. And he's not wrong.
No, but it is brutal to hear.
Just this.
And Andrew's already having a pretty bad week, you know. He's already having a couple days, so it doesn't really help the situation.
Especially when, I mean, Adrian is trying to say, like, I don't need any physical proof that you're lying. This is impossible. Like, they're dead. I mean, they're undead, but, like, is forever.
Right.
And Bobby's like, expand your mind, homie.
Right. Yeah, what if things that are dead don't always stay dead? How do you think about that? How do you expand your brain space, my guy?
Right.
And he reveals that he did it with a stake, which makes Rose be like, question mark, hello?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Right? So he raises her hand. It's like, hi, excuse me. I've killed a lot of strigoi with my stake, not to flex or anything, not to brag, but...
Shows her next tattoos.
Right, yeah, she turns around, pulls her hair up, and is like, and they are dead, so what's up with that? And he's like, no. It's not just
like
a
regular... grass-fed beef
Yeah, steak. Organic steak, yeah. Farm-to-table steak, yeah. But one that is charmed with spirit, that Lissa, like, kind of clues in on when he's saying, like, it's a special steak. Which is interesting, because this reminds me of when we were talking about the show and how they, like, take bits and pieces from, like, all of the books, right?
Yeah.
When fucking Christian was like, I guess I'm gonna be a monk now or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it needs to be charmed with spirit. And I'm like, ding, 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 it's here. It's from this. Oh my gosh, amazing, stunning. We love to see it.
Because we find out that the regular stakes, and I remember this from, I think it was book 2, when, like, Jesse's nasty, like, rich people group was breaking the wards, that you needed the 4 elements for grass-fed organic steak.
Yes.
But the idea, of course, they wouldn't have been charmed with spirit because they don't believe that it exists.
Right. Yes.
Interesting. Also, Bobby at the rave does the same thing to Lissa, but the opposite thing that he did to Adrian, where he looks at her and he's like, you're gentle, you're kind, you're great, you're perfect, no notes.
Right. You're Linda Evangelista, you're everything.
Which is
you're
great.
A star.
I love it. This is wild.
Yeah. And so, of
Rose
course,
has to chew over this with her egg rolls.
Right. Yeah. Rose is naturally skeptical, right? Because she immediately is like, that seems easy, right? Like, that seems like too easy for this. And Bobby's like, no, it's actually the opposite of easy. It really sucks. And she's like, well, you know, how, like, that just seems like, you know, they stake him. I know how to do that. That seems pretty sick and cash money. Like, that seems easy.
Yeah,
and
like,
Bobby's
we could do that right now.
Right, like, we could just do that. We could just find a strigoi and just do that right now. I don't see what the problem is. And he's like, oh, no, sweetie, no. You can't do it. Not you. She's like, what?
Oh, you, the shadow kissed? No, you can't do it.
Yeah, it's like, you don't have the gift of life. Those who are blessed with spirit are the ones that can do it. And at this moment, at this table, there's only 2 people that could do it. Adrian or Lissa. And
which he calls the gentle girl or the drunken sod.
It's so good. Like, really making the choice pretty pretty clear in his mind, which I appreciate.
He's like, my wager would be on gentle girl.
Right. And Rose immediately is like, oh, fuck no. Absolutely not. Like, we are not putting Lissa in that kind of danger. She can't even do it. Sorry, Lissa. But, like, not
and
even...
Lissa's pissed.
Right.
She's like, you can't decide what I can or can't do. And, like, before she can even finish that sentence, Rose is like, hey, girl, remember when you could barely punch Reed?
Right. And that was when I was inside of your brain telling you how to do it. So let's think about this, okay?
You would have to be so close to one of them without them not, like, biting you or snapping your neck.
Right.
No.
Or just immediately killing you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're just, like, bickering about this. And Adrian and Eddie, visibly uncomfortable. Victor and Robert, like, pull out some popcorn. They're just, like, having a
They
chill,
love it.
You know, they're having a great time here. And Rose brings up an interesting point here, a smart question.
What you would think would be logical at this point.
Right. Because she's like, okay, so knowing what I know about, like, the bond and Shadow Kissed and everything like that, if, you know, someone who uses spirit brought back a Strigoi to life,
right,
would they then also just be in another bond together, which, as we know from previous installations of this, that does not work with your brain and cause a deterioration of your mind very fast because there's too much going on. And already, Liz and Rose are pretty vulnerable to that.
Because that would mean, like, I mean, Alyssa obviously can't do this because Rose won't let her for obvious reasons. But the Shadow Kiss portion would be another reason of, like, Alyssa's sanity is already kind of teetering at this point.
Right.
But apparently, and Bobby gets very, like, extra dreamy at this point. And he says that that's not actually how this works for Strigoi. That the Shadow Kiss thing only happens with people who were alive when they died. With Strigoi, you're saving their soul, so they're Gucci. There's no bond.
Right, and it's like their souls are not, like, they're just, like, lingering, right? They're, like, not in the current world, but they're also not in, like, the underworld or death or something. They're just, it would be like just bringing it back to center rather than, like, taking it from the dead to another person in this, like, relationship or something. So it just, like, normalizes it, which is interesting.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right.
I'll follow that line of logic, sure.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's all just, like, it's all just fake, you know? Like, we are talking about fiction, so, like, whatever.
What?
We can make up rules.
You're telling me this isn't...
It's hard. Listen, it's hard for me to remember sometimes, but we do.
Oh my god. We've been reading 4 of these. We read 4 of these and they were all fake. These are all fake words. What?
It is actually... Ferrero Rocher is a prophet. She's an oracle and she had to...
Yeah, she's a scribe. Yeah.
So Rose asks what I think is a logical next step from this too. She's like, all right, so how do you charm the state?
Right.
Like, what do you do? And Robert's like, well, it's easy. That part's easy.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool.
Like,
give me a steak right now, and I'll just show you. It'll be easy. Yeah. And Adrian's like, you can't fucking bring a steak out in public. We are in a casino. That is a weapon. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they will. I mean, they might not realize what it is, but they'll know, like, it's sharp and pointy. We can't just do that.
Yeah. And they're like, well, we could just go somewhere more private with less people around, you know, which seems like a dangerous situation because we have a criminal on the loose and also a stranger man that we don't really know but has a weird vibe.
They're planning on it about going back to the room after dinner. And again, dinner feels generous. They've had apps.
Right,
They've had apps and drinks.
They've had apps, yeah.
Then we get this bomb.
Yeah.
Here. And it's important this is where the show and the book really kind of, like, diverge.
Yeah. Into a yellow wood, yeah.
That's exactly what the poem was about. So, book Victor turns Natalie. We remember this.
Right, yes.
We all remember this. Rose, it goes into her mind palace for a second. And it's like, Now wait a fucking minute.
Yeah, hold the phone.
I remember that you convinced your own daughter to turn Strigoi and try to help you escape jail. Could it have been possible that you knew this whole time what your own brother had done?
Right.
And you were going to try and use her, like, Strigoi strength and turn her back.
Right. Because he knew it wasn't going to be
forever.
Like a permanent thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was just a phase.
Right. Which, like, changes Rose's mentality of Victor immediately. Like, because for so long she was like, yeah, I always thought he was a bad guy, but that was, like, the final straw of, like, thinking of him as a monster. Of, like, someone who truly didn't care about the people that were closest to him and, like, only did stuff for his personal gain, and didn't care who, you know, fell in the process. But this, like, colors it in a different way of, like, oh, he never anticipated or never assumed that that would be a permanent thing because he had this, like, knowledge from his brother of this as a possibility.
When she says this out loud, Victor, like, goes white.
Right. And, like, immediately shuts it down.
Yeah.
It's like, Natalie's dead. She's gone. You know, there's no point in talking about it.
I found it interesting that this somehow lessened her, like, distaste towards Victor, when to me it makes him worse.
Yeah, because, like, he still, like, used her. Like, yeah, it was still for, like, selfish intentions, right? Even though, and also he didn't know perhaps that the Robert's thing would even work, right? We don't know that he knew that. He just, you know, probably had to trust in his brother or something. But, like, there was no proof of this really happening outside of this one instance that he wasn't even really there for, you know? So, like, he still, like, fucked someone over for this idea, this chase of this thing.
It goes from being, like, calculated and selfish and, like, you could almost say at that time, like, an all-consuming selfishness to what it actually is completely calculated.
Right. Yeah.
And being like, I don't give a fuck about my daughter. This is all about me.
Right.
And that
I'm willing
is
to risk
so
it.
bad.
Yeah. Right.
But I think that that's because Rose is trying to do the same thing of, like, having hope. And she's like, well, if he has that hope, then he thinks that it's real and credible, and I need to do that too. So, anyway. Tell me about the end of this chapter.
Oh, God. Okay. So...
this anti-elevator platform that they're on.
Right. They're on an anti-elevator. So they're like, okay, let's meet in the room. We'll have everyone there, so, like, we'll be fine. And if anything happens, like, we got our bros, we got our boys here. And it'll be quick, and we won't, you know, we'll just see how the stick works, right? But there's also a fuck ton of people in here. And
we are in a casino, so that is important to remember.
It's a busy casino, right? Very chaotic. Like, the group keeps getting split up by all the people and stuff, and Rose gets freaked out that, like, what if Victor and Rob, like, run away and, like, take this as their opportunity to get the fuck out of here. And so she signals to Eddie, like, we need to, like, find a way out of this, right? We need to figure out what's going on here. Right. And Eddie becomes full, like, line leader. Like, he goes into full camp counselor mode. He, like, makes a sharp left, and it's like, okay, let's go. We gotta find, like, some sort of other stairwell, right? To get out of here. And he's like, okay, there's, like, an emergency exit here. There's probably some stairwell in this hallway, whatever. And we're like, great, so cool. And this, we get to a little stairwell, and there's, like, a little warning sign, you know, that has, like, alarm's gonna sound, it's gonna be loud, you know. And they're like, okay, we gotta turn around and find another place. And then the whole room gets tense. Everyone's tense. And we feel the nausea. And
The Spidey sense.
We got some Spidey sense, and there's Strigoi. Bum bum bum.
In the casino.
Inside the casino. And they're
Which,
a fence. Yeah.
Notably little to no windows in a casino.
Right, yes. And they're like ostensibly trapped in like by an emergency exit and like a crowd of humans and maybe Moroi, but like a lot of people, right? So they're feeling fucked.
Yep. It is no good. Rose is like, okay, there's 3 of them. And naturally, because of course, Dimitri's one of them. And she knows because she figured this out, but ostensibly nobody else, like Adrian, Eddie, Lissa, they don't know yet.
Right.
Fuck this.
So this fucking sucks. This chapter blows.
This sucked so bad to read.
I had a bad time. I was hurting.
Homie went to Vegas and got a new leather duster.
I screamed when I just like. So during this, they like, Eddie and Rose go into beast mode. Like, Rose immediately like takes out this one woman, Strigoi, and like Eddie's kind of like going with the other one, and she sees Dimitri behind them, just kind of like chilling, being like, "Hey, bitch, you miss me?" And she notices that he's wearing a new leather duster because obviously the last one got a little bit fucked up in their last fight. Yeah. And she's like, oh, "Motherfucker, you bought a new leather duster." I was like,
he's in like the mafia, so he's got like unlimited
he can
funds
get connections. Yeah, right. He could get whatever he wants, I suppose. But she's like, "Motherfucker, how dare you?" So rude, so disrespectful.
The fact that he's like, so Rose like immediately kills this woman, Strigoi, steps over her without even looking at her.
Yeah.
And of course, Dimitri is like, he sends these 2 like minions, right? And he stays back. Fuck this. Yeah. I hate Strigoi Dimitri so much.
I know.
And he's like, the first thing that he really says to her is like, "I told you I'd find you."
And she's like, "Yeah, I know, bitch. Like, I got your weird letters, okay?" Like, because obviously in her mind, she's like, "I knew this was happening. Like, as soon as I stepped out of the safety of the court, like, I was going to be fucked. And, like, I knew this."
Right.
But, like, seeing him is definitely a different thing,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And the worst thing, and we knew this with the last book, but these 2 fighting with each other is rough because they know each other's fighting styles so well.
They know their moves. They know everything.
Right. And so it's hard because they could ostensibly like fight forever because there's no that you need an outside force essentially.
Yeah. Right. Oh God.
I don't like it. It makes me mad.
Yeah. And Dimitri brings up a point too while they're just like in this,
circling each other.
2-step. Yeah, like they're just like round apart each other. And he's like, "Yeah, it's even wilder that you like left the safety of this place, but you also brought Moroi with you. That's pretty risky. Like, I didn't think you were that, hasty with the lives of others. Like, I know you're hasty with your own life, but the people that you love seems pretty sus, my girl. What's going on here?"
God damn it. And that was finally like enough for her to like snap out of it, and she yells at Lissa and is like, "Girl, you have a fire alarm right next to you.
Right.
Get out of here. Go." Because it's still daylight. It's like 5 o'clock or something. There's still enough light here.
Yeah.
And that's enough that it won't necessarily scare the Strigoi off, but it'll make enough noise that this hotel security will come.
Right.
And that will stop them theoretically.
Theoretically, right. But she notices that Lissa is frozen in place. Like, she has noticed that Dimitri is there and that they're fighting.
Too stunned to speak.
And, too stunned to speak. She is, like, shocked. Because this is her first time seeing Dimitri as a Strigoi as well. And is like, what the fuck?
Because she knew.
Just like,
but that's a different thing from seeing him.
Yeah, completely. And Rose is trying to, like, use the bond to, like, figure out where her head's at, but she's also like, I can't hesitate with Dimitri. Famously, can't hesitate.
Famously can't do that.
It's the one thing you can't do. Keep that in mind, everyone.
Please remember, that's the whole thing that Dimitri has told her from day one. You can't hesitate.
Yeah. So just keep that in your brain. And he like, he notices that she's kind of like not in herself at the moment and like, you know, pins her against the wall. And she loses the grip of her steak. Womp womp. Fuck.
Sucks, because that's kind of important.
Yeah, the steak is pretty crucial to to everything here.
Right.
And he, again, tries to, like, sweet talk her and stuff, which, like, okay, bro, we get it. Like...
And it's just so nasty, because, like, we know it's not going to work now. Mm-hmm. He's like, why are you being so difficult?
Right.
Finally, though, there's a noise. There's like an alarm that goes off.
Yeah.
Which helps things.
Like, thank God. A little bit of distraction. Always good.
And
shake people up a bit.
MVP, Eddie.
My boy.
Stakes Dimitri in the side of the stomach.
Yeah.
Rose doesn't know at this time if Eddie realizes that this is even Dimitri.
Right. Yeah.
Eddie could just think, like, this is just another Strigoi. Because that's how they're trained. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Just to see monsters.
Yeah. Oh, God. And so
These two fighting hurts me.
I know. So Eddie's now toe-to-toe with Dimitri. They're fighting in a similar way that Rose and Dimitri are fighting, but not as adeptly, because Eddie doesn't know Dimitri as much as Rose does. But he's still, like, keeping his own a little bit. And he, like, Dimitri, like, shoves him again into the wall like he did with Rose, but with the intention of, like, breaking his skull, essentially.
Yeah.
But Eddie, very on his feet, like, moves in a way that, like, it's just his body weight that takes it, or takes the blow. So he's, like, not doing good, but at least he's not, like, concussed or, like, has a broken skull, which is great.
The thing that's really important to remember.
Yeah.
In the last book... is Rose had said, she had sworn to herself that, like, if there was a time when Dimitri was about to kill her, she was gonna kill him. Like, that was the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like, if there's no proof or, like, instance of this actually being, like, this is just a fantasy, like, the next time I see him, I'm not gonna hesitate, I'm gonna do it. Like, this is the time.
And she's in this moment right now. Like, she's got Eddie. They could both take him down right now. Right. They could just end it.
And Eddie's stake is, like, at a very good line to get him right in the heart. You know, like, we are in a blow situation that could just do it, you know?
But she just found out, like, 20 minutes ago, that there was maybe a chance that he could be freed, right? Saved.
Right. And so Rose... steps in, and
she's like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
And she makes a decision, and she, like, goes over to Dimitri and, like, rakes, like, the back of his head, or, like, his face. Yeah, his, like, the side of his face, to, like, essentially push Eddie out of that line of staking him in the chest. Which... Yeah. Very, and Eddie's like, what the fuck? Like, bro, like, what is this? And they're just, like, deadlocked in that moment of being like, fuck, we fucked our chance, like, that was it, and we lost it. And
there's security now, so they don't really have, like, a chance to do anything about it. Right. But before, like, as Eddie and Rose are leaving, they're trying to go through the, like, fire escape door. The last thing she hears Dimitri say, and he's like, there's, like, laughter in his voice, is, it's not over. Do you really think there's anywhere you can go in this world where I can't find you? What the actual fuck?
God. I hate it here.
So naturally they're on the strip. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's sunny. They're just trying to, like, get their bearings and find somewhere to go.
Right.
And I think they go into the New York. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they get into, like, the lobby, Eddie, who's usually, like, known for being calm, cool, collected,
Totally.
chill,
Yeah.
like, turns to Rose and is yelling, like, pissed, and is like,
right.
What the fuck? Like,
yeah. Are you, like, are you deranged? What's going on here? Like, we had him, and now there's people that, like, humans that have probably died because of this. Like, that was irresponsible and silly, and what the fuck even was that about, and why, you know? Like, I know he was, like, just your, teacher or whatever, but you gotta, like, put that aside. Like, this is your fucking duty, bitch.
And the thing is, like, Eddie never knew about Rose and Dimitri, and so she finally says, like, I love him. Like, yeah. And it catches Eddie off guard enough, and she says, like, Dimitri, he's more than my instructor. Mm-hmm. And Eddie is staring at her, effectively, like, puts his hands on either side of her head and, like, shakes her head.
Yeah.
And it's like, was. Right. He was more than your instructor. You loved him. Mm-hmm. But that was in the past. Like, he's gone. Did you see that dude? That's not Dimitri.
That's not your dude. I know you may be confused by the duster, but that is not him. He's a different guy now, and he sucks.
And Eddie's starting to realize, like, why she asked him to come on this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, Rose. Rose.
Come on. We don't even know.
This is not going to work.
If this works, and it probably won't. What the fuck? And he even gets mad at being like, it's kind of like I can handle breaking out a criminal from prison, but I draw the line at you, like, letting a Strigoi go so they can kill a bunch of humans because you love them and think maybe you can bring them back to life.
What is that fucking Community quote?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like, like, I can, stand racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty.
Literally.
Like, that is the energy that this is right now. Being like, that's, like, actually 100 times worse than what we did, so fuck you, how dare you. And also, you're foolish to think this would even work.
Rose is like, I can't process this right now. I don't want to think about the fact that Eddie might be right. We need to find out where Lissa and Victor and Bobby are.
Yeah.
And so she, like, taps in to the Bond, and they're across the street at MGM.
Great.
So go find Lissa and Adrian and Victor and Bobby. Mm-hmm. Lissa was very scared.
Yeah.
Poor Alyssa.
Yeah.
I felt
and Adrian's
really bad.
Like stress smoking, just being like, "Fucking what the hell was that?"
He's a fucking chimney.
Yeah.
But the shitty part of how this chapter ends is Lissa's, like, looking around with Eddie, and they're like, "Dude, where's Victor and Ricky Bobby?" That's not. His name is. I've gone so far.
We've got a full journey of here. I love that.
And they have unfortunately realized that they are gone.
They're gone, girl. Uh-oh.
They have slipped.
They've left the building.
Which, does that shock anyone? No.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
No. So, brothers at large, fugitive Victor, and noted spirit user Ricky Bobby, are on the loose in Vegas. I honestly don't know where this is going, and that makes me nervous.
I'm so stressed. For real.
And listen, I know every Vegas trip kind of ends like this. People are lost. You're getting in fights. Like, you end up at different hotels. But I feel like the stakes are a little bit higher now.
Sure, yeah. I would say that's right.
And I just need to know that things are going to be okay. We have some patrons. I think they're going to reassure us that things are going to be okay.
Oh, thank God. I need that.
Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Katie Black.
Ooh. Thank you to Kylie Minty.
Ow. Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Ooh. Thank you to Mulch Gray.
Mulch. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ooh. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
O'Shea. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ow. Thank you to Hope Castile.
Ooh. Thank you to Rachel Ashburn.
Ow, ow, ow. Thank you to Vivian Yulee.
Ooh. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ow. Thank you to Samara Rinaldi.
Ooh. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ow, ow, ow. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh. Thank you to my mom, your mom, our mom, Kelly Beck.
Mom.
Mom.
Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh. Thank you to Laura Forty.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ooh. Thank you to Maria Swan.
Ow. Thank you to India Peach.
Ooh. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ow. Thank you to Jaylene Ivashkov.
Ooh. And last, but certainly not least, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Wow, wow. Pew, 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 pew.
Ooh. While we wait until next week for chapters 11 and 12, I have a fan fiction for you.
Ooh.
This is titled The Bun by the author Goth X Chewbacca.
So true.
This was published in October of 2021. And the summary is Dimitri wears his hair in a bun and Rose doesn't know how to handle it.
Oh my gosh.
These two have a hair thing.
I mean, they really do. There's a haircut going on somewhere here.
There's no chapters in this, so I'm just gonna go for it.
Hell yeah.
Dimitri stood at the back of the room, wearing jeans and a t-shirt underneath his duster, with a mop of wet hair that had been thrown into a messy bun. It took me a few moments to register what I was seeing. Once I did, I was floored. Oh shit, I murmured, without even thinking about it. Congrats, you beat the most badass guardian around, Eddie teased. I couldn't even pay attention to him, or my apparent win. My focus was all on Dimitri, and on the bun that he was sporting. I'd never seen his hair like this before. Dimitri always looked good. He always, even at his absolute worst, looked hot. When he was at his best, he was downright show-stopping. But this rendered me speechless. There was a first time for everything, I suppose. Hathaway, a voice snapped. Dimitri turned his head slightly to look at me. A small frown appeared on his handsome features, and he made a slight motion with his head, like he was trying to tell me something. I returned the frown, confused. Hathaway, stop glaring down the Guardians and pay attention, Stan ordered. I spun back around quickly. Are you sure you're not concussed or something? Eddie asked me softly. I shook my head, distracted. I wasn't concussed, but I was sure as hell going to make my boyfriend wear his hair in a bun more often. End scene.
I love.
These two are so obvious, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, God.
I just want to go back to that Dimitri.
I miss it so bad.
I would give almost anything for that Dimitri again. Instead of the one that we deal with now, who honestly reminds me more of Jesse Zeklos than anything, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's really fucked up. Well, friends, Take care of yourselves, which means maybe watching Glee, maybe not.
Maybe not, actually.
Maybe not, yeah.
Or playing Sudoku.
That I can definitely recommend.
Yeah.
Yes, please do that for yourselves. Tell a friend about the show. Yeah. And until next week, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
And get whipped.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.